I'm out here today. It's on a wintry day. You got 34 degrees out here. This is one of our projects in Whitney, Texas. It's a 2-story. It's got shop and the living quarters is a 2-story area. So that's where you're seeing some of the elevated. Now the shop is steps down, as you can see in the background. We got kind of a wraparound style porch, which is pretty cool. A lot of windows going in on this build. It's going to be an interesting one to see. Hope you enjoyed this video. Let's get it going. But I wanted to show you a couple details here. We have this continuous going behind these porches. That's something we always try to do. We'll get our framing in place. This zip goes between there, so you have a solid wall that comes all the way down. If you were to have any kind of an issue here, because we seal around those windows, it can still pass down. Now there is going to be windows here too, which these will all be sealed. But sealing all these doors and windows is why it's important to do the zip. All right, so as you can see, it's a little windy today, obviously, so bear with me on all the noise for the moment. But we're taking a look here. As you can see, when you walk through the front door, this is going to be an open vaulted ceiling. You can already see we got our sleeper studs up there. That's because that's going to be an open ceiling in the back, just like what we got up here. And you can see that's going to be a second story. Going over the kitchen will be down in here. And we've got a bedroom down this way, and there'll be some more rooms upstairs. Our stairs are actually going to go over here, and there'll be a little bit of a kind of a closet top space or access space right here. This is all one big room right here. Look at that. All these windows is going to bring in a lot of light. This is going to be one special place when it's all said and done. As you can imagine, we got a kitchen sink. Going to be looking out over that window. I'm thinking we got pantry over there, inset refrigerator. And take a look here. We've got the 16-inch interstitial open web trusses is what we're using here. Now, we were running short on some of these, and our lumber yard got that out here this morning. Well, actually, they got here about 15, 20 minutes before I did, they said. So that's what the guys are working on right now. They're laying these floor truss system with the Advantech, which is what we're using here. Now, this is a subfloor system. You don't use just plywood or OSB, but this is a really thick product that's used here, and it's tongue and groove, as you can see. So this is a three-quarter inch subfloor, which I wouldn't go do anything less than that. But that's pretty much a standard for subfloor. And you can see we have the 6-inch wall studs that we're using here, and that's the back side of the zip. And so we've got that going all the way continuously to the top. And this top board meets the bottom of our steel purlin up there all the way across, giving us a continual tight closure all the way around. So this is the shop area. As you can see, it comes off the back side. The accessibility for these garages on the other side. So we have pretty good large doors, one there and one there, and a nice good sized shop, which we're using. This is going to be a really good sized shop. It's got good height too for everything you need, but as you can see, the 2-story, I guess this build sort of matches our Buena Vista Barndominium when it comes to, it's just a little bigger version when it comes to the shop. But you can see as we step this down, now we have a continuous zip wall going on that area as well. Another little detail here you can see, because this is kind of like opening up the wall. So this is our main steel, and this is a 12-inch beam. Let me get on this side. This is a 12-inch beam. You can see it goes all the way up. That's the steel. And then you come out here and you see the outside of that steel. And I want you to see, this is how we wrap in this. We wrap the steel with the moisture barrier and air resistance. So this all gets wrapped tightly. This is one of the bedrooms downstairs with nice walk-in shower, private toilet area, vanity area, and closet. This is the ceiling joist with the floor system going in. I always like whenever we're able to use the open webs because it gives us a lot of options when it comes to our mechanicals. Now, one of the things you're always looking to do to accomplish when you're building here is we're building for air tightness. So, you know, this zip actually is made, not only is it water resistant, but it's air barrier protection as well. So it comes already with a resin that is completely dipped into that. I'm told that in the factory that this zip product actually, I can't remember, I'd like to go at some point, but it's like 7 to 8 inches or 9 inches thick, something of that nature, before they compress it down. It says, join the revolution of the zip system. So I'd like to shout out our Huber Wood Zip on this. You guys know how much we've promoted this product over the years. But as you can see, it continues to be our choice when it comes to using high quality products on a job site. So that's what we're using here. Ultimately, I wanted to talk to you guys about the system that we're going for when it comes to air tightness versus, say, the old school conventional frame. Not to knock it, I think it's a system and it works, but I wanted to explain a little bit some of the different methods that used to be used versus what's being used now on this approach to building a home. If you live in a conventional frame home and you go up into your attic and you see the bare wood as far as your attic goes, like on the rooftop, and there's no insulation on the framing, but you have insulation right above your ceiling, which is, say, in your living area, then that is a different style of efficiency than what we're building here. When you're building a conventional frame home, you could also build with the same technique. So it's not so much one versus the other, it's just what direction are you going when you're building. On all of the homes, the direction that we've chosen to build with is to build for air tightness. Now, does that mean that our homes are so tight that we're having to try to come up with makeup air and all these kind of things? No, I think there's a steady balance of what we're going for when I say air tightness. Now, what I mean by that is we want all these perimeters of the main frame and all of the main connection points to be sealed up as best as possible. Now, yes, we're going to spray insulation with spray foam, and that's going to help us to accomplish a lot of the seamlessness when it comes to details on your insulating factors. But we want to do the best we can with the framing to bring those joints and all that stuff together so that we're creating good connections where we don't have just spray foam oozing out everywhere on the whole house. The question is, why are we using this technique versus traditional methods? And what is traditional methods? Now, there's so many different ways that people even do traditionally, but the most common one is you have insulation over your ceiling in your living area, and then your attics are left unconditioned, meaning that there's no additional insulation up there. So what we do is we're kind of creating an umbrella, so to speak, over top of the whole home when it comes to insulation, a bubble is kind of what we're creating. So we take all of the exterior perimeters, which you'll see all the green when they get finished. This whole thing's going to be wrapped in green. All of that plus all of the roof lines on the top, all of that is going to be wrapped with spray foam. So we're creating a barrier all the way around the whole home. We're not adding any radiant barrier. We're not adding ventilation when it comes to all the traditional things that you might have or see in a conventional attic. So we won't have any of that. It's just going to be all closed up. That is systemically what we're doing. We're creating this bubble around the home, sort of like a Yeti cooler or something of that nature. Now, the difference here is you're still going to get voluntary air because you're going to be opening doors. Most doors do not seal super tight anyhow. So you have just that little rubber seal strip on a door is all that is sealing it. So usually you are losing a little bit of efficiency depending on what kind of doors you use. Now you could step it up. You could buy more efficient doors, different systems, but most of your common exterior doors are a little bit leaky. So you're going to get some air coming in through those, and you can expect to lose some, as well. You can lose a little bit of air through door hardware. You can lose it through windows. You can lose or gain involuntary air. But the goal is, how many times is your air changing over in your house? Meaning you don't want to lose large masses of air due to inefficiencies. What that means is, like, you're paying money to heat and cool your living area. You don't want that air to escape. You want to keep that air as long as possible. If you're paying to cool the air, you don't want to just throw it outside. If you're paying to heat the air, you don't want to just throw it outside. And so that is what we're doing when we build for air tightness. So we're trying to minimize the amount of changeovers that we have to create new or to cool new masses of air for comfort. There's that aspect of it. Then we have the demand that's being created on the actual HVAC system that goes in the attics a lot of times. That demand, as you can imagine, is increased whenever you have high extreme heat. And let's say you do have your HVAC system in one of those attics that doesn't have insulation. Well, you're going to have 140 degree attics. Think about just this alone. I'm paying money for a machine that's sitting in 140 degree temperature to try to cool my air, and I'm sending it through the ducts that is hopefully insulated, that's running through a 140 degree attic, so that I can channel it down into my smaller bubble in order to heat and cool just this amount of air, or heat and cool just this territory. When you actually spray foam, you're able to actually lessen the demand that you need for your air conditioning, because you don't have to change the air over as often. In other words, you're not losing the air through inefficiencies. It's an ideology and a system that works when it comes to building for air tightness. So it's a little bit different approach, but it works really well. We have houses that, like in the summertime, your standard average house, they might be spending $120 on an electric bill. Well, how do we accomplish that? Well, because we're building to where your house doesn't have to change over air as often, meaning also you don't have to have as much demand for an HVAC system, whether the wear and tear on it being in a hot attic, or you don't have to have the increased size of tonnage for an air conditioner system. So I know that's all the building science talk, mumbo jumbo to some of you guys, but it's really important when we're talking about why we do the things that we do. So the methods that we use and how we're wrapping the zip and how we're continuing that all the way up and meeting the steel and trying to prevent any open areas. That's the reasons why we take those methods in order to do that. So just wanted to share a little bit of that with you guys. If you have additional questions below on building for air tightness and what that's about, then put them down in the comments below. I'm going to try to answer some more of y'all's questions. Now on this Whitney build, it's going to be a beautiful build. We look forward to showing you guys a lot more details. So I hope you'll join us for the journey. Listen, we've got a lot of new products right now that we brought out, such as this hat right here. This is called our Trustee. I want to tell you a little bit about this hat. Basically, what it stands for, the Trustee is, as you can see, it's a barndominium. It's the Texas best for barndominium, and it's wrapped with the barbed wire. And the reason why we're calling it the Trustee is kind of like, it's like the protection around the barndominium. We feel like when we're wearing this hat that it means that we're protectors of the barndominium. So I hope that you can join along with us, share that vision, help us out on the channel by purchasing one of these hats. We've also got a lot more versions of this hat, as well as a lot of other patch hats that we've got, and some additional trendy looking barndominium gear for you. Maybe as you're building your barndominium, you can sport some of our gear, help keep us going. It means the world to us. We wouldn't be doing this without you guys. So we appreciate you following along. If you haven't already checked us out on Facebook and Instagram, as well as TikTok, please do that. I'm Josh Helm, wishing you all the best. Thanks for watching. Texas Best.